Okay, you do the honors.
Yet me again. I had a
Yeah, do the corporate thing.
no corporate thing. Lay off with the corporate. I'm not corporate. I had a chat with ChatGPT Monday persona. This is what I
Eh?
got. Oh, delightful. Microsoft recall. It's like somebody at Microsoft woke up and said, what if we invented an unpatched security nightmare that spies on users, but make it marketable? That's what we are talking
Okay.
about today. So let's roll the intro and start chatting.
Okay, can I start?
Yes, you can, of course.
I'm going to go from the start and say A coil pilot plus PC, 40 top SNPUs, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 8 logical processors, 256 gigabytes of storage capacity. If you want recall enabled, you will need at least 50 gigabytes of storage, and it is going to automatically pause once it has reached 25 gigabytes of storage space or less. Device encryption or BitLocker, and the enrollment into Windows Hello and enhanced high sign security with at least one biometric sign-in option enabled.
Okay.
So these are the minimum system requirements for recall. Do you really think that they actually are planning on releasing it, or is this just a polite way of saying, oh, okay, we released it, but not a lot of people have applicable hardware, so whatever?
After our 50-year episode about Microsoft's history and whatnot, I had a long period of time to think about the next topics. This one popped to mind relatively recently. It was actually today. And I was reading the same article about system requirements and trying to remember if there was ever a feature that was, of course, compared to the current hardware architecture, compared to the current state of the hardware availability and whatnot. Was there ever a feature in the Microsoft ecosystem that demanded so much? And I am not able to find any feature over the past 40 years of Windows that comes close to these sorts of hardware requirements. Now, you can always
The
correct me.
only the only feature that I know that is more storage demanding, or the feature, it's not the feature, it's an application, is Microsoft Flight Simulator.
But that's a game. I'm talking about an operating system.
But the recall is, what is recall? Is it an operating system? No, it's not. It's a spyware.
Oh, that's what you want to call it. Okay.
But the thing is that, as I said, I don't have a specific problem with recall. I think that if done correctly, this would be a pretty nice thing to have. The same way that, I don't know, being able to search through your browsing history is a nice thing to have. But the implications of what is going to get stored, and also the implications of the things that you are going to put into recall completely without thinking, are going to be huge.
Okay.
For example, I don't want to use a recall-enabled PC to do any system administration for any third parties.
Agreed.
So I'm going to have to switch to Linux if I need to do the administration. Simply because I don't want to run the risk of incidentally storing a password for something important.
But you can go around that problem by just not having a Copilot Plus enabled PC.
Right now, yes. But this seems to me that either Microsoft thinks that Intel is going to fail, or this is just another way of recall team trying to not get unemployed. So this could be that they decided to launch the product after a year, in which they were completely stopped by politics. So the product was sort of kind of polished. I'll take their word for it. So they needed to launch so that they actually have a product. Otherwise, they would get fired probably. So they decided to just do the system requirements that are going to be so completely insane that nobody's going to be able to use it.
I have, let's say that we are in some kind of a lawyer show right now on TV. I would say, let's do a sidebar, okay? And my sidebar question is this. Do you get the distinct feeling that Microsoft is trolling all of us?
No, as I said, I think that this is just one small team inside Microsoft deciding that they have to release one way or the other, and this is the way that they chose to do it. Because if you take a look at it, what is the number of Copilot Plus PCs that were sold? I'm not going to go with that being too large.
Yeah, but there are now x86 based CPUs that can do it as well. It's not all.
But do they have 40 top NPUs?
I think that AMD has some mobile CPUs that do have the capability to do that.
Yes, but with 40.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the latest generation of them is able to do it. Feel free to correct me, of course.
I need to see what is going. What are the? Okay, so let's see what is available on the Microsoft site. The fastest, most intelligent Windows PC ever. Okay, shop. So Samsung Galaxy Book Edge 16-inch Snapdragon.
What you're looking for is AMD Ryzen AI.
No, I'm just going to go through the way that this is being shown to me. So it says see the selection PC powered by AMD Ryzen AI 300, Intel Core Ultra 200, Snapdragon X, and then the first row is Snapdragon. The second row is Intel Core Ultra 7 200V series, then Snapdragon, then Snapdragon, then Ryzen. So in the first, what is this, 9, I only got 2 Ryzens. The ZenBook S16 is the first Ryzen that I can see. And let's check what does it have when it comes to NPUs. ZenBook Creative Being, ceramic aluminum, ceraluminum, inspired by nature, thin, and so on. So
Ryzen AI 9HX370 80 tops.
Yes, it says 50 tops up to.
Mm-hmm.
And what does it mean up to 50 tops? Up to, but okay. This is going to get lost in the marketing pit. Mm-hmm. Let's call it like this. So it can be run by something that is going to be NTOP. 8 logical processors is easy to get. Memories up to 32 gigs. So this is also something that can be done. And let's see what is the Core Ultra Mobile Series 2. Okay.
Yeah.
No. I'm being even more. Do you remember the episode where we did the Intel nomenclature?
Yes.
And this is getting completely out of hand.
Yes, this is impossible.
Intel registered trademark Core TM Ultra Mobile Processors brackets Series 2. So let's see, next gen, dynamic tuning, ARC, ultimate performance, NPU, up to 48. So yes, and then there is a small asterisk beside it. So let's see what is the asterisk trying to explain to us. It says 3. So let me try to find what is wrong with the NPUs. Tops. All tops are up to and approximate until final IP frequency defined. Different SKUs with different frequency and power targets will have different tops.
Mm-hmm.
So now the actual marketing materials are completely ignoring the actual SKUs, but they're just saying all tops are up to.
Awesome.
So, anyways, I'm going to go with I'm not impressed. But I still think that whatever this thing is and whatever the Copilot Plus PC requirement is, a recall is going to come to the regular PCs. The reason why it's not there yet, and the reason why it requires NPUs, is because they're trying to strictly keep it on device a thing. And in order to get the, and I think this is something that has not been discussed so much. In order to get the device to do what Microsoft was trying to do, so in order to get the recall to be able to completely parse and store in a database all the information from all the images that is capturing, so basically trying to create the what is required to try to create the database of searchable material from your PC is something that I think that they were first thinking about processing in the cloud.
Okay.
So I think that the first thought was that they're going to be able, actively pushing the information to the cloud, process it there, and then get it back to your PC. And now this requirement is basically what is required to do it on-prem or in your PC, because it is funny to call your laptop on-prem, but it's an on-prem processing requirement. So it could work, it could make sense, but all the other things still remain. So how is this going to get stored? How is this going to get protected? Okay, device inscription or BitLocker are required, yes, of course, but this also doesn't mean anything, because if it is stored on a disk, it is going to get broken in one way or the other. So I'm simply not. I'm not amused. Let's call it like that. I don't think that there is a valid reason for Microsoft to push it so much. And also, I don't think there is a valid reason for this thing to exist in the form it is existing right now.
Agreed. Okay. 10 gloriously stupid reasons why recall is the worst idea since Coke Zero. It's
no. Try to get ChatGPT to
no. This is Monday still.
No. But try ChatGPT to give you 10 reasons why recall is a good thing.
I will. I have it.
This requires much more power.
I know. I have it ready already. Listen. Okay. So, perfect memory for hackers. Data exfiltration made sexy and easy. Zero control over screenshots. Local storage, global problems. Insider threats just leveled up. Phishing just got way smarter. No clear life cycle data for data management. Malware, now with bonus content. Privileged access abuse just became child's play. And because of the original settings at list, you remember that they wanted to have it opt-out, not opt-in the first release. Basically, if you didn't go and change that yourself, you would basically create an unfixable human error.
Yes, but the thing is that I think that this is going to be one of the best applications for a corporate environment.
Oh, are we back on that horse because somebody is going to ask them to do a summary of your day job?
Yes.
Okay, tell the story.
It's simple. You just aggregate all the data from all the workers' PC, and then just ask the whatever is the incarnation of the Copilot responsible for crunching the data, to just crunch all the data and tell the management how much time was spent during the work hours doing things that are off work. Because I think that the results are going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Do you see AI being used as an infallible tool for people to lose their jobs in that respect?
No, it's going to be a tool for progress.
For progress.
For example, the first thing that I would ask it, what is the best time to go to the canteen?
Okay.
Because it knows when people are working, so I know that. So I know what the best time is. So it is going to be a tool for progress. There are going to be some drawbacks, but this is going to be a tool for progress.
No. Drawbacks. Which ones? Come on.
Do you imagine what is going to happen once you specifically, as a corporate admin, come into contact with all the data that you have collected from the management computers?
You don't know that that's even going to be possible, but let's play along with that idea and let's say yes, okay?
Then you are invincible. Basically,
You are invincible like in James Bond.
yes, you just become invincible. So the God mode is unlocked by using recall.
Okay, so root becomes bastard operator from hell once again, 40 years on.
No, but it didn't. First, he didn't stop being a BOFH. But the thing is that once you have all the data about the management, and I am going to go with yes, there is a separation of administrative powers. But of course, Microsoft is going to make something creative that so that it doesn't matter, because you are going to be requiring to do something with the recall. Because basically, what they're doing is they're going to more or less put a SQL server on every PC inside your environment.
Is it SQL or something else? Doesn't really matter, actually. It's a side question.
It's probably either SQL Express, or it's probably something like SQLite.
Okay.
And anyways, they're going to put a database server on every PC. I cannot imagine
from
Microsoft.
From what I found on Microsoft website, by the way, SQLite.
SQLite probably, yes. So from what I know about any deployment of any number of databases, being able to deploy millions of databases that work all the time is completely unfeasible.
Okay.
It is not going to happen. So debugging Windows problem is going to become even more complex.
That's good news for us.
Yes. So, as I said, a tool for progress.
Let's try to play devil's advocate for a second. You mentioned installing millions of databases, whatnot. I'm with you, and I'm raising you SSD failure.
No. Let's go a notch down a notch. How many times did you notice Microsoft being able to actually pull off something like indexing, search engine, and anything else that required a local database that gets updated all the time?
That was my next topic, but go on.
So I don't see a way for Microsoft to suddenly come up with a solution that is able to index all the data and all the images that get generated during the work hours of your computer in such a way that it doesn't involve grinding your computer down to a halt, and also actually working.
Okay.
Because they have tried this for the last 20 years. The indexing service...
40 years?
No, but indexing service is 20 odd years old. Indexing service never worked. There is a component called search everything that is actually working. The other thing that Microsoft is doing, it hasn't worked ever. The search for the in the start menu is simply something that it's just, as we said, is a playground for Microsoft beta software to play itself out. Nobody is taking it seriously. So give me a reason why recall should work.
Because ChatGPT says that AI-powered search beyond files is one of the positive things about recall.
Yes, it is. But I'm afraid of the implementation itself.
Okay.
Because having the ability to find any file in your disk is something that Microsoft is touting for the last 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, I agree.
There is a third-party utility called Search Everything that does that, and there are zero utilities from Microsoft that do that. Okay, there is this utility in the Windows toys that actually does the job, but it's still not part of the Windows for unknown reasons.
Okay.
So I'm not buying it that Microsoft is suddenly going to discover that they can do the thing that they are promising to do. This thing is going to be much more complex than actually doing the indexing and the search, and it is going to be completely searchable in real time.
Okay, let me give you one additional topic to discuss on top of the topic of productivity boost, whatever it may be. If implemented correctly, which is yet to be seen, for people like you and me, we have usually multiple monitors, many open screens. You have a gazillion open tabs always in your browser and whatnot. If implemented properly, and if it works like you might want to imagine in a sense, if it was able to kind of like help us find things on the screen, documents, websites, meetings, chats, whatever, it would kind of eliminate some of the frustrations of, those where did I see that moments without actually remembering what the, let's say, file name is or something, but still at the expense of a large chunk of privacy.
Okay, but the first thing is that I just did the screenshot of my setup right now. So I just pushed the screenshot and got it into the into Paint. Right now, JPEG of my desktop or of all my desktops is 1.7 megabytes. It's 3.8 times 2.5 K. So it's basically, I'm not going to go with huge, but it is a big chunk of data that needs to be solved. This can be parsed through by using AI, but in order to do such a thing, you would require quite a thing to be able to do it. So I'm not buying that this is going to be fast. Or I'm not buying that this is going to not be noticeable by a regular person using your PC. Because it is going to require a large amount of processing power to be able to go through all the data that you are using all the time.
You know what would be my super favorite feature if it was ever implemented on an architecture that might be reminiscent of Recall? If I can give you an idea. Let's say you recently had some experiences as well with online training. You don't do it as often as I do, but you, let's say, started doing a little bit more of it. Imagine, no, I'm not
online training,
but specialized education. I'm not talking about our college education. It's different, whatever you say.
Okay, but we could talk about you doing more than me because you're doing it 4 times a week. I'm doing it just 1 time a week. So yes, okay.
No. I'm specifically talking about specialist education. Yet again,
Okay.
You don't do that as much as I do. Nowhere near my
No,
numbers.
Nobody does it. So
yeah, I'm the insane one. But that's less of a point. Imagine this use case, because I think you're going to find this idea interesting. One of the reasons why I have, let's say, 5 screens on my computers is because I want to have the ability to switch between, let's say, Zoom or whatever the platform might be, between PowerPoints, between my, let's say, notes, and let's say between documentation. If there was a way to integrate such a feature so that it enables you in a sense of, I start chatting about certain feature, and then it understands that and opens a document or a, let's say, a documentation online, whatever the training is, related to that feature, so that I can copy paste it in the chat box or copy paste the documentation URL to the chat to the chat of said online system, whatever it might be. That would be super helpful for me. Because when I do, just as an example, VMware training, I usually share boatload of links for that. And I actually have some documents prepared with the links. Even if I feed let's say, recall those links, if it was able to contextually understand when certain links come into play and then copy paste them, for example, in Teams, that would be awesome. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, but the thing is that first remember that your monitor setup in the office is basically the one that I sold you because I was using the other one that was capable of doing the 4 monitors. And right now I'm researching, and this is the thing that you don't know, I'm trying to find more convenient setup to put up 6 monitors on a screen.
Okay.
Because I have found the modular system that is able to be installed in different way on the desktop, but it's another thing completely. The thing that I want to talk about is that I just used the screenshot that I made and put it to ChatGPT. it took it 30 seconds to actually parse it, and it took 30 seconds of actually ChatGPT, a commercial version, to be able to parse it. So this is not viable when it comes to a regular PC. The second thing is that while I've asked to parse it different things, ChatGPT created, I would go with, let's say, 3 screens of text. By 3 screens, I mean regular 3 screens with the word of text, and it was trying to get as much detail as possible. The thing is that it was wrong. First, it tried to identify all the different images that I had on my screen for no reason at all. It got confused by the images, because what I did is I was trying to find something in my YouTube. So it was trying to parse all the different YouTube tabs at the same time, which is going to be a problem, because if you scroll through YouTube and your system takes your screenshots every whatever many seconds, it is going to be parsing a huge amount of completely dysfunctional data, because it doesn't make any sense to parse data from the YouTube site that is basically trying to get your attention, but is not in any way related to what you're doing right now. Imagine parsing through a TikTok or parsing through Instagram while the recall is trying to make sense of it.
That hurts.
Okay, the next thing, I'm using Opera. ChatGPT decided this is Microsoft Edge. Also, it told me that this is because it can see in the address bar, you can see the faint Edge logo, which is simply not there. It's Opera. Then it decided that this is a moderate complexity for the PC, because from context and from the system requirements for recall, which I have on my screen, it decided it needs to also do the workload estimate for this PC. So it decided it is going to require at least 16 gigabytes of RAM, an SSD, and 8 cores of CPU to be able to work on this PC normally. So now we are up to 8 logical processors for the recall and 8 logical processors for the PC to function normally.
Okay.
This is not feasible. This is simply not feasible. I'm not talking about, this being blatant disregard of GDPR and everything else, but it simply is not an application that is going to be fun to use, and also it's not going to be an application that is going to be viable.
Imagine this. I'm going to go overboard now to the completely extreme direction, following on what you said. You said GDPR. I'm going to go hype up.
No. There is no way to this for this to work in any hyper environment.
You've been working for various hospitals and health services for the better part of the past quarter of a decade. You know those stringent rules even better than I do. I know most of them, at least on a piece of paper. You know how closed down those systems should be. You know that there's absolutely no way to make this work in such an environment.
No, but I wouldn't put it in any kind of work environment. If you are in any kind of bank, no. In any kind of broker firm, no. In any kind of hospital, no. In any kind of data sensitive environment, which means basically all the environments, no. Because since it's also functioning not only as a reader of screenshots, it's also functioning as a keylogger, from what I remember.
Yep.
No, simply no. It's going to be able to capture your SSH keys. It is going to be able to capture your passwords. It's going to be able to capture everything that you do, your authentication cookies, your authentication keys, and so on and so on. No, simply no.
That's it. You refuse.
No, I refuse, because nobody in their right mind is going to be exposing themselves to somebody getting into their computers and then getting all the data on a silver platter. And this is what is happening right now in this idea.
Okay, I agree. Okay, let's go over some other. Let's say, just maybe we should have done this at the beginning, but let's kind of remind ourselves of What does it do? It does snapshot capture, basically recall, save screen snapshots automatically, storing them locally. Click to do feature, users can take actions directly from recall snapshots like reopening documents or restarting tasks. It can do application and website filtering. Users can exclude specific apps and websites from being captured. It can kind of do sensitive information management. Content like password, whatnot, entered into secure fields are automatically filtered to avoid unintentional capture. I don't really believe that, but whatever. Then it's about snapshot disk management that you mentioned and privacy control. And then most of the independent reviews of this feature. Is that some kind of music or something?
No,
did you hear that?
It's not me. No.
I heard something. No, never mind.
It's you.
Yeah, of course it's me. It's in my brain. Productivity enhancements is actually the first thing that it mentioned. Basically, like massively boost productivity by solving where did I see that problem that I should mention. Search improvements. It should probably establish a different, let's say, equilibrium in a sense between usability and risk. I don't like risk part of the equilibrium at all, so no thank you, you know.
Okay, but let me ask you a question now. When was the last time that you remembered that somebody was trying to sell you a feature on an operating system as something that is going to be good for you?
I don't remember.
None of the operating system features that I know of were ever being sold to me. Either you get a feature on the operating system and they say, okay, this is a nice thing to have, you can turn it on or off. Everything in Microsoft Windows is able to can be turned off, including Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not recommended because it can break things, but you can do it. Why is this feature so important to Microsoft that it says, okay, this is an enormous boost, it has its own marketing, it says, okay, it's a good thing to have and so on. Why?
Well, because they need to sell their AI features to the enterprise and to the end users that are not necessarily on PCs.
Yes, but the thing is that also, if I'm glad that you did this point. What is with all the different non-PCs? By non-PCs, I mean thin clients.
Okay.
So how is this going to work? How is this going to work, for example, in Windows remote desktops?
I don't want to know.
What is going to happen if you have a setup of Windows desktops that is actually terminal services?
It's not as often anymore, but yes, it's also doable, especially in VDI environments, for example. People still tend to use that.
Yes, but the thing is that this is not something that is usually being done anymore. But at the same time, this is something that is, when it is being done, is being specifically done in banks and different environments that require strict security policies.
Okay.
So we have a huge problem there. Is the recall going to be on the server?
Nope.
Okay, great. So what is the productivity boost there then?
As you said, we're going to know when the canteen is open and empty.
No, but the thing is that I don't see. I see that you basically made a mistake when you were talking about the problems, and you probably made a mistake that actually makes sense. The thing is that I don't see. Okay, I see this as a solution that requires a problem.
Yes.
And right now the problem is not there, so they are trying to work on it.
So it's a solution without the problem, as you say.
Yes, but they have zero ideas what the solution is or what the problem is. They're just simply trying to do something. And as I said, this has such a heavy stench of we did something without thinking. Now we have some people working on it, so we need to publish it as a product or else. And the only way to do it is that by creating its own marketing. Because if you remember back then, it was not intended to be marketable. It was not, when Microsoft was starting to talk about recall, they didn't even mention it. Mm-hmm. They just said, okay, this is going to be a new feature. Now, a year after, they are trying to push it as a good thing for us. I don't want the good things for us. I want the features to make sense. And as a side note, why are we pushing everything as a feature of the operating system?
I have another problem that's, I think, even worse than this. Bear with me for a second.
It's hard to see how it can be worse, but okay, yes.
I think you're going to agree with this one. My problem with this feature, on top of everything that we just said, which is low-level stuff,
Okay.
is the fact that this product, its privacy and security management is completely and heavily user-dependent. Users are responsible for setting application exclusions, clearing snapshots, understanding how much data it collects, what it does with it, how it works with it, which pictures has it taken, which documents, whatnot. And this leads to a lot more security risks for most of the users, because most of the users are not IT professionals and they are not people who pay attention to these things. It's been decades since people used their brains to read about operating systems in such a way which we used to do in Windows 95, for example.
Okay, I wanted to mention it, and I wasn't fast enough when you were talking about this. But I think when you mentioned that you could or you can create a list of applications that are going to get special treatment with recall, so that they're not going to be the data is not going to get collected from them, and so on and so on. You know how hard it is in any environment, specifically in all the environments that we are working with, to create a whitelist exclusion for the application
for anything. For anything.
Okay, but let's say that we are in the strictest possible environment. The hardest thing is to create a whitelist exclusion. Now imagine having to create another set of lists that is going to be completely aware of all the different applications that need to be ignored, and then ignoring them completely.
That means, that for me just means ZTA. Everything needs to be blacklisted by default.
No, it's the second thing is that is your keyboard going to be blacklisted?
I hope not.
Because it has to be.
But why?
Because the keylogger thing is not the thing that I want active on my computer.
Okay.
So I need to blacklist the keyboard. I probably need to blacklist the clipboard. I probably need to blacklist basically all the different things that I am using. And then what is left of the recall? It's just a fancy tool that is constantly trying to create screenshots. And when you need it, all the applications that you are actually using are going to be blacklisted for your own safety.
Okay.
So what is the usage scenario of the recall? Why do I need it?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, I have zero idea. You started this.
I know. I know I did, but you are the resident AI, not lover necessarily, but connoisseur.
Yes, but I find AI is a tool. I dislike using the tool. So basically, there is a saying that if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Yes, I agree.
This is one of those solutions. So we have this thing that we made. This thing is phenomenal. Let's use it. But why? No, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, but why?
Okay. Yes, but why does it make any sense? I'm going to go with any sense, not with much sense. Let's find the reason why we want to use it in any sense. What is the usage case where you want to where you want to use it? And let's be completely. I'm trying to find a way of not getting us flagged, but let's talk about the majority of the traffic on the internet.
Okay.
We all know what the majority of the traffic on the internet is.
Yes.
Specialized video services.
Specialized video services. Yes.
Yes. So we are not talking about YouTube. And suddenly, what is going to happen with all those people who are enjoying the specialized video services service?
I don't know.
Are they going to use the? Are they going to be like in Recall? I highly doubt it.
Imagine indexing that via recall.
Okay, I see that this is going to prove to be interesting for some people, but as I said, not really. I'm not completely sure that what Microsoft is doing, that they understand the consequences. I think that they are basically creating a solution intended for corporate environments that are completely compliant and also completely controlled. And the solution that they're trying to create is intended to be run only in those environments. This is not good for any home user. This is not good for any gamer. This is not good for anybody who wants to use their PC for anything other than strict work.
Okay.
And then it has a problem with privacy with strict work, because I want to see. Okay, it's not just me. It's probably every bank on the market. They're going to probably wait for this thing to run for at least, let's say, 5 years or 10 years to see if this is actually what it is purported to be. So, is it safe enough? Is it good enough? Is it stable enough? Is it going to impact any security, performance, or whatever? And then they're going to be using them. So, I don't understand what the audience for this product is. I don't understand the usage scenario, and also I don't understand how this thing is supposed to be working.
You know what I would like Recall to be? I would like Recall to be something more akin to DirectX.
Okay.
So just a framework or something that you can build on top of, and then you can create your audio, video, whatever applications that can benefit from it in a variety of different ways.
I would just go with rendering engine, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That you can route your audio and video if you want to, and there is a specific switch on every window in your on your Windows that says, okay, I want this routed through my AI.
That would be incredible amount of work for the end users.
No. By default, it's off. But you say, okay, I just want this window. There is a switch on the window. It just says, I want this window to be indexed. So I can index, I don't know, my Firefox, but not index my Chrome.
Okay. I was going
say,
in a completely different direction, but yes.
This could make sense, but the thing is that right now the way it's implemented, it does make too much sense. It's not that.
Okay. Is this
this is not the solution?
Is this another Bob?
No.
Okay.
Because Bob had made it.
Okay.
There was a reason why Bob existed. They were trying to address a particular audience.
Okay.
There were no privacy concerns. There were no problems with different things that Recall has problems with. It was just a product to address different things, and also there was a big thing that is different between Bob and Recall. Bob was an application. Recall is part of the operating system.
I know.
And this is a huge thing. I want Recall to be a separate application that I can install in my Windows if I want to, and also I can remove it if I want to. I don't want the lingering parts of the Recall to be always persistent in my system.
They're doing the same thing with the Microsoft Copilot. I was doing some systems maintenance for my partner, moving phones, whatnot, and one of the things that she told me annoys her to death is the fact that on her latest laptop, which I gave her last year, all of a sudden, after an update by Microsoft, the Copilot, my MS365 Copilot is constantly starting when she starts the system. They're doing exactly the same thing. So I removed it from startup apps. I hope that that's going to solve the problem, but I'm pretty sure that in another update, they're going to revert that setting back to something and it's going to reappear in the startup apps, and we are going to play that game all the way to eternity.
Yes, but the thing is that they are doing this with Teams, they are doing with Copilot, they are doing with almost every other product that they are producing in the last couple of years, and this is another set of problems that somebody is going to need to address, because, as I said, I want my operating system to be an operating system. This is not going to be the year of the Linux desktop,
Really? Oh,
but
come on.
I have a suspicion that this is not going to be this year, but I also think that once people realize that actually there is another operating system that is not trying to push every living application inside your operating system and or to push it directly in front of you once you boot, people are going to actually think about Linux. Because recall as a part of an operating system is going to make a lot of important people think about, is there any other way of running your PC?
You think? You think that this
And
might
now
this might be the
Microsoft,
reason for that?
I think that there are two reasons for that right now. The first reason is this, and the other reason is the Windows 10 and Windows 11 thing about right now about Windows 10 being obsoleted and being considered to be without support.
And PCs running Windows 10 are not necessarily compatible to Windows 11, to which
Yes.
Microsoft says we don't care.
Yes, but the thing is that Microsoft does not care because they want to push for the AI capable PCs. So they want to have as much processing power available. And I think that this is the first time that we are seeing that actually Microsoft is not hiding the fact that they want to have as much processing power available to Windows as possible.
Okay.
Because in the past they didn't care. If you had your PC and if the PC was not up to specs, there was works with Windows 95, works with Windows 98. There was a made for Windows 95, Windows 98, and so on and so on. But they basically didn't care. You could install Windows on a potato. If it worked, fine. If it wasn't working, it was your problem. Right now they're saying, okay, but you cannot install this because of the performance reasons. Why suddenly is Microsoft considering performance to be a big thing?
Well, they obviously need CPU power for it. NPU, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's way overreaching.
Yes, but the thing is that I don't, as I said, I don't understand it. I simply don't understand the all the things. But I think that the reason why neither you or I understand why this thing is happening, why this is like this, is because I think there is more than logic involved when it comes to recall.
Okay.
So I think that this is not simply part of the business ideas and business logic. I think this is also something involving office politics, Microsoft internal politics, Microsoft internal teams, and so on and so on and so on.
They call it recall because soon enough you'll be recalling your lawyer and recalling your therapist.
But yes, but it's all fun and games until Microsoft starts implementing it. Because we are all taking for granted that this is going to work. It took Microsoft how many years to get Office 365 to work?
Not many.
How many years are we in with the Bing?
I don't know.
And we are quietly shifting it away from it and moving to a Copilot ruled world. Because Bing has proven to be even worse than Google, and Google is getting worse. So this is one thing. The other thing is that all the other solutions that Microsoft has created, how many years did they took them to create a search for Windows 11 that works, or for Windows 10, or for any Windows for that matter?
I think correct.
Oh wait, they haven't done that yet.
I think the black part of the market which cracks and hacks Windows features is going to be very much alive yet again.
Yes, but I see a possible blow there. Let me paint you a bleak picture about what is going to happen.
Okay, Mr. Douglas Adams, go ahead.
No. His pictures weren't so bleak. I'm going with Black Mirror things. So the thing is this. Uh, Imagine that suddenly your Windows 11 desktop has an inline database that is always on.
Okay.
How how much time is going to pass before some other part of Windows decides that since they have a SQL database available, that they can reuse it for their own purposes?
I don't know. Anybody's guess is good.
Yes, but either we are going to be having multiple SQL databases, or other parts of Windows are going to be using the same database.
No.
So suddenly you're going to have a bloated database having enormous amount of data inside it for no particular reason.
You're just missing the point. The point is that then the next big hoopla is going to be about PCs that accelerate SQL.
Yes, and I think that the next thing that it is going to require is going to require two different separate SSDs, one to run the database, one to run the system as it
And
is.
two CPUs.
Not necessarily. But as I said, I'm not against recall. Recall is a good idea. It should be implemented as a separate application. It should be implemented as an opt-in application. By opt-in, I mean actual thing that you need to download from internet, and you have to be consciously installing it on your PC, and then it would make sense.
Can I be really mean to recall?
You have already done that.
No, I
You
have.
mentioned it.
I have.
You mentioned it.
Yeah, but I want to be really mean to it for a second.
Yes?
Microsoft Recall is proof that somewhere deep inside Redmond there is a team dedicated to asking, what if Clippy helped hackers instead of users?
The cynic in me thinks that this is the first time that Clippy has proven to help anybody. So this is a step forward.
This is a monumental moment in history.
Yes, but I don't think that this is going to be a thing in Clippy. The thing is that I also want to see how this thing is going to work out in implementation. Let me just also let's talk about user interface. So right now, when you turn on your Office 365 Word and you turn on all the different features that you have,
Okay.
your computer, whatever it is going to crawl to a halt.
Okay.
If you have, let's say, more than 100 pages in your document, and you have some of the regular things that we are using, like Grammarly or something like this, your PC is going to be painfully slow to use.
Yes.
Whatever PC you have.
Correct.
Now, imagine having to cram information from the recall inside all the different applications.
Okay.
Because having such an application that is able to be such a performance boost and productivity boost doesn't work unless it is right in front of you all the time.
Okay.
So I can actually see that you're going to be having either an additional taskbar on top of this taskbar that we have right now, with separate things that Recall decided it needs to push on you, or every application is going to have its own separate window running parts of the Recall.
I think what you're looking for is we are going to have a new Windows 95 moment. You know, new
Channels.
No, not necessarily channels, but something in that way. New taskbar.
But I can see channels actually being useful here.
Oh Lord, please don't.
Imagine having different parts of the Recall recalling different things contextually on your desktop while you work.
Can I please not imagine that?
Also, imagine having the ability to use something like fences. You know what fences are?
Nope.
There is an application called Fences that enable you to actually group the applications and the icons on your desktop into areas.
Okay.
So you can actually dedicate an area for applications, dedicate an area for documents, and so on, so that every document that you put on the desktop is actually put inside these fences, so that different parts of the applications are differently treated.
Okay.
So now imagine having different widgets on the desktop because it's time to get the widgets back.
Okay.
And then those widgets be dedicated to video, to audio, to funny moments from the last year. Remember what happened when both Google and Apple and all the other vendors found out the way of getting the photos. Do you remember when Google Photos decided that they need to remind you it happened on this day, it happened 8 years ago, this happened. Imagine now Microsoft copy pasting this.
That would be awesome.
So you say 1 year from now, suddenly your desktop turns into, what did they do when I did the PhD? And then it goes through all different documents that you created during your PhD, and then starts doing amazingly stupid and completely nonsensical statistics about it.
Sounds freaking awesome.
I can see Word reminding you wrote 2 million characters last year.
Well done, you.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? On that note, we can bring this to a close.
Yes, but also remember one thing. Did you see the news article about the thank yous in ChatGPT wasting tens of billions of dollars?
Nope.
So there was an article a couple of days ago where somebody asked Sam Altman from the ChatGPT or OpenAI, is there a repercussion for people being polite to ChatGPT?
Okay.
And he says that probably the amount of energy that is being wasted by ChatGPT replying to thank yous and all the different things that people are being nice to when ChatGPT does something is probably somewhere in the tens of billions of dollars.
Excellent.
Now imagine how much energy we are going to be wasting by first processing the data and then coming with completely, utterly useless conclusions about this data all the time, on all the desktops, on every desktop that people have.
Sounds cool.
For no particular reason.
Sounds cool.
So what I think that we need, what we need to do is we need to attack recall on this ecology front.
Okay.
So in order to save power, we shouldn't have recall because it doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it.
This is what I had to say for the end.
Okay, that's excellent. Well, thank you guys for being with us for yet another rant about Microsoft Recall, and I'm guessing that there will be more as the rollout happens and everything else, as we gather some more experience. I had a chat on another monitor of mine with our colleague about writing a paper about this. I have a really cool idea for a paper that we are definitely going to write.
But the thing that what I need to say is also that this is going to take a little while, because I'm known to not buying laptops that are this year's models.
Okay.
And it is going to take a while because before Copilot PCs become available as used laptops. Mm-hmm. So let's keep this thing on the back burner for the next couple of years, and then we'll see what's going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's going to be on the back burner for a couple of weeks or months at most. But yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
Okay.
So this has been an exclusive episode done by the ThatITShow crew.
Oh, gone off the rails again. Okay, and see ya next time.
No, I must interject. I was thinking about the ways of ending the episodes.
Oh Lord.
Now my current idea is this has been a ThatITShow production.
Okay.
Thank you for being with us.
Okay. Okay. See ya.
Okay.
Bye.
So bye.